welcome. God bless. This one is on car maintenance and issues. That's not fun. That's even less fun when your car doubles as your home. It just sucks. Yeah, by the grace of God, I haven't had anything lifted out of my car so far because it's just unnerving, because anything that's near, dear, and necessary in your world is with you, and I can only fit so much in my purse, you know? So, but so far so good, so yay. My car is getting older and ornery, so that's no fun. The sensors on it aren't quite working. I know last year, I know I needed an oil change. It was coming soon, but I know ever since I've gotten this car, it's like there's something that comes up on the dashboard, so I'm always told don't do anything until. So I was waiting, like all the men have told me to wait until, and yeah, the warning never came, and I ran out of oil, and I went into creeper mode, and I was just like, oh no. But thank God, it was just, really low on oil, and it didn't kill the car, but it was frustrating because then the mechanic was yelling at me and like, what are you thinking? You have to check this every time you go, fill up with gas. It's like, that's not what I've been told. Like, I've had every man tell me wait for the thing. So, and my sensors on my tires are off now, so I keep getting warnings on that. And my tires are bad again. Then I have to go leave LA this year, so that's gonna add a lot of miles. But I'm just gonna go with the tires I have. There's no snow or ice, though. Hopefully it'll all be good. I went on alignment, and the one tire is quite bald, the other tire warped, and now I've just noticed that I have another tire balding, but the center of it is it still has traction. So yeah, I'm just gonna go, and I'm just gonna hold off on that bill as long as I can, but or at least a little bit longer. So, but there's no snow or ice, so it's not like it's an ultra dangerous thing at the moment. Let's see, what is that? Can't read my own handwriting. I had to have transmission oil done one time. I went in for motor oil. They said they'd give me a break if I did both, so I did. And then later in the year, I had major issues with my car, and I'd taken it in, and they're all like, everything's fine. I'm like, no, it's not. And the mechanic wound up coming out to talk to me. So I guess what I was saying wasn't quite getting back to him, and when he talked to me, he's like, okay, I have to go check a couple things, like look, a little bit deeper, because just surface things were checking out okay. But when he went back, he wound up coming back going, yeah, there's multiple issues. And when they had redone my transmission oil, they didn't tighten the bolt on properly, so I was slow but surely leaking my transmission oil out. Oh, that was a big bill. By the grace of God, things have balanced out so far. Can get a little bit edgy, but they have balanced out so far. I do put money away every month, and you can only have so many quiet months. Life is life. Like, something's going to hit the fan, man. So but yeah, I've gotten some deals, I've gotten some breaks. 2 times my parents have helped me, which I was really shocked at, but so I was grateful for that. That was a blessing. I have had issues. I had issues with my door. It was like the first week or two I was homeless, and it was one of the rare times I went to a campground, and it sucked because in the beginning of the day it was quite warm, but where I stopped, it was at a base of a mountain, and it was quite cold, and it looked like the storm was coming, and but lo and behold, that's just the way it always looks there. Who knew? But in my haste to get everything set up before the storm hit that never came, I wound up locking my keys, my dog, and my telephone in my car. That sucked really big. And it was too long of a walk back to the office for me. The only people in the area was 2 like leather biker dudes who appeared to be doing their best to ignore me because I'm like crying and yelling for help, and they were a little bit of a walk for me, but they were the closest help I had. So I just kept walking and crying until I finally got to them, and they're just like, ugh. But they did have mercy on me, and the one went and got a phone and a telephone book for me, and the other one actually got me hot cocoa and he had a windbreaker that he let me wear while we waited. And the one was nice. He talked to me, and the other one, he was nice, but he gave me a hard time on a lot of issues. Like, what's with the dog? You need a German Shepherd. What are you thinking? It's like, this is what I had, and he fits in the car. But, oh, that was a pistol. And the guy who came out to get my keys out, my windows are open just a crack, and he refused to go through the windows. He had this great new thing. It was like this plastic thing that you put through the door and the frame, and then you'd blow it up and get in the car through that way. Well, you know, bending metal isn't good. And after that, my door creaked incessantly. And I called him to say, hey, it's not quite as good as you say it is, which he got really pissed off. And it's like, I've never had anyone complain. It's like, yeah, just because no one's complained doesn't mean things are good. But yeah, and then I had a recall on the car. I had to bring it in to get the recall taken care of. And when I took it in, I'm like, hey, this is what happened. Can you do anything to fix the door? And they're like, well, your warranty is void now. I'm like, oh, dang it. And then the price they gave me was quite high, and it's like, never mind. But when I left, one of the guys walked me out, and he's like, at the end of the day, we just take it in the back and like bounce on the door. That's all we do. He's like, I'll do that for you free of charge if you want. I'm like, please. So that helped tremendously. I was so grateful for him. I have issues with, it's a pistol because I had a really old GPS. And I really liked it. Oh my gosh. In this one place I went for an oil change. Oh, it was like after 2 hours, I'm like, give me my car. And they're like, we still need to wash it. And it's like, what? No, you don't. Like, just give me my car. They wound up damaging it. They hit it off my dashboard so hard. It like took the back off and it like damaged the connector. Oh, such a tick off. And they never did return any of my phone calls. Because I'm like, hey, we need to talk. You damaged something in my vehicle. And I always got a voicemail, and the manager never called me back. It's like, so that's a pistol, and it was a pistol because my one socket wound up dying, and I brought it in, and I'm like, you know, because I would charge my phone on one socket and charge my GPS on another one, and then the one just died. I'm like, hey, is it a blown fuse? And they're all like, oh no, it's the entire socket, it's $150. I'm like, wow. I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. So yeah, that was a little bit challenging, charging two things on one socket. Ugh, people. And, but thank God when I wound up, I was in a different region later in the year, and I went and I called around, and, I took it into one place, which is funny. The guy was just like, ooh, I remember you. You ask questions. I've never talked to a woman like you before. I'm like, say what? He's like, women don't ask questions, not even prices. I'm like, you gotta be kidding. He's like, no, man. I went to the mechanic. I'm like, man, this one's been like screwed over royally. I've never talked to anyone like her. And so yeah, he gave me a quote. He quoted me a price for if it was a fuse, and it was a fuse. They lied to me in LA. It wasn't a socket. It was a fuse that was bad. So it was like a fraction of the price, and he actually charged me less than what he quoted me on the phone, which was awesome. It's so beautiful when people are honest, and when they have your back instead of stabbing you in the back. It's just makes the world so much nicer. So I was so grateful for that. Yeah, I have had my car actually die on me. That was really unpleasant. I had my AC die on me. I called around. I found this one place that had the best price to fix it, and it had good ratings. So I went there. Later in the day, I needed to go pick up a bite to eat and go to bed then. And when I started my car, it just started violently jerking. My dog and I just looked at each other like, uh-oh. I'm like, screw dinner, like we're going to the mechanics. And the mechanic was only a couple miles away. Sadly, there was a hill in between him and I, and my car died almost at the top of the hill. I almost made it over. And it was a rush hour, and it was this narrow, just busy street, and it died. So I wound up throwing the car in neutral. I coasted down this steep hill with all these cars like dodging me. The only place I could park it was in the red zone at the intersection behind me. My angle was a hair off and my back tire hit before I could completely straighten the car out. I had a very nice lady in the beginning of the ordeal and at the end who stopped and they talked to me, which was a blessing. It's always nice when people can offer kindness when you're having a really tough situation or a tough moment. So I really appreciated those two. Everyone else was either whatever, or they're honking their horns, or they're honking their horns and screaming at me. And one jerk face actually felt it necessary to do the ultra angry like horn honk, and then he actually stopped, put his window down, and started just cussing me out. I was so not in the mood for that, and I just exploded. And yeah, he quickly shut up and quickly drove away, and I just kept on yelling. And everyone in the entire area knew that, you know, I didn't park like a kook because I'm a girl, or because I'm a brat, and I think the entire world revolves around me and rules are for other people. I'm parked like that because my car is dead. Are you actually that moronic? You would think I would do this on purpose? Yeah, it was very trying. I didn't know if I was gonna have to sleep in my car or sleep outside that night, which was a scary thought. But I didn't have to. I wound up staying in my car. I could stay in my car that night, so that was good. And but yeah, and my insurance company, they wouldn't okay the mechanic to come get me. So I had to wait for a tow truck company out of Compton. So yeah, it's like, have you ever rode the 91 or 405 at rush hour in LA? Like, yeah, that took hours. That was like probably pushing 4 hours before he got to me. And he's this really big burly man out of South Central, and he sort of had that vibe of like, ugh, like a white woman with a foo-foo dog. But yeah, so, and it was challenging, but by the time he got there, at least like almost everyone was home and in bed, and so there was barely any traffic because he had, it was unpleasant. He had one of those massive flatbed trucks, and the road I was on was quite steep and quite narrow, and no one could get up and down while he was working at trying to get my car on the hoist. Yeah, and then my dog didn't want to leave my side. He's such a good little dog. And yeah, but he wasn't allowed in the truck, so I was trying to get my dog back in the vehicle, and he really didn't want to go, and the guy just whoa, like picked him up by the sides and tossed him in the car. Oh, that didn't go good. Oh my, that really pissed my dog off good. And then the guy's all like, ah, like, he's like, just get him in the back seat. I have to get in your car for like 2 seconds. And my dog was having no part of that. I did get him in the passenger seat, and I'm like, yeah, you're just gonna have to deal with the fact he's in the passenger seat. And I looked at my dog and I'm like, darling, he's here to help us. So no biting, no barking. And he was good. He was giving the guy quite the look. He did not like him. And then, oh, I was like in the truck, and my dog's like just on the flatbed in the car going, what's going on? But the guy was nice. He did, I really needed to go to the bathroom, and I asked him to stop at a restaurant, and he did. So I really appreciated that. And the truck was a little bit too big for the parking lot, so that was a little bit unpleasant trying to get out of the parking lot. And then he saw someone there that I guess shouldn't have been there, and he like jumped out of the truck and was encircling this car and looking in it and looking at the driver's license, and he had just steam pouring off of him. I'm like, oh dear. but and then that was another thing, because, you know, when your car's your home, you know, he's all like, where do you want to be dropped off? And it's like, just get me to the mechanics, and I'll take it from there. Thank you very much. So, but yeah, it's upsetting. It's upsetting, car issues. And I know one guy, he had to make a choice of spending every dime he had to make his car emission okay. They do emissions here in California, or going on the streets and having a dime to his name can be a little bit alarming. And you know, you just have to trust the mechanics. I know I wasn't given information on CarShot. There's no way I have to take them at their word, which is scary because things add up really, really fast. By the grace of God, my car's never run the same after it died, but it does run, and somehow so far things are balancing out. But I hope your car's running good for you. You take care. Bye.